Hey guys, I just wanted to upload my review of Supergirl, Childish Things. This would be season 1, episode 11, where the Toy Man breaks out of prison. He was, Winslow's shot, and Winscott, is is of course his son, is the son that causes his son, and so the FBI is constantly interrogating him and basically it causes like internal conflict within Winscott because he feels like he is somebody who never going to step out of his father's shadow in the sense that he mentions that they were inseparable. He mentions that he was used to be this good man until he lost his patent. His patent was stolen by his boss or by the toy company he worked for, and then he tried to kill his boss. And he was this and now and it causes this internal conflict because he's worried that what if Winslow's worried that we have the same skills, we have similar the same skills, same interests, same temperament. What if I go off the deep end? Every time I get it, feels like every time I get angry, that I'm closer to becoming more like him, going off the deep end. Like, what if this is it? And Kara acts as his moral support because of the fact that she reminds him that he's gonna, you know, he shouldn't like try to reach out to his father. He shouldn't, let the authorities, just gun him down. Just gun him down the first chance they get because of how dangerous he is. And he also, Supergirl also reminds Win that she lost her parents too. Obviously, hers died. Hers died. Win's dad was incarcerated. It's like she tells him that both of our worlds came apart. They were consumed with anger and grief, but that neither one of them gave in to it. And it was doing it like one of their hearts. And again, kudos to the performances of Melissa Benoist and Jeremy Jordan, and the writers for making these characters not only relate to one another, making Supergirl relatable, but being able to do that by making her relatable through be able to relate to the other characters. And it was also during this moment where Win tries to go in to kiss Kara, and and obviously it's awkward, so he decides to leave, and that's how he gets kidnapped by his father, who wants him to sneak into a toy convention and force him to assassinate like the toy man's old boss, or else he would detonate 10 bombs within the convention, under some like twisted logic that whether they become fugitives or cellmates, that they'll be together. And he goes on this rant about how the toy man blames his boss for why he never got to see his son grow up, and so that's how he's going to rectify the situation. And kudos to the actor. I wish I knew his name, to his stellar performance without, he wasn't able to be hammy, but also being like cold, calculating, but also creepy at the same time, and just show off how twisted the toy man was, which is, I don't think I've seen an incarnation like that, whether it was on Superman the Animated Series or Smallville. So I like the route they took with this of making him stand out in that sense. So of course, Supergirl comes into the last second, saves everyone, and the toy man's taken back to jail. The other subplots were, forgot. Shoot, I'm blanking on Kara's sister's name. She's trying to convince the Martian Manhunter to use his powers and how he would be very useful, and John Jones is reluctant because of how he was hunted for years, and people will accept Supergirl because she's human looking, and John Jones in his true form, they would just be horrified of him. So, but he is willing to help he is willing to help with the mission to. Kara's sister goes on a date with Maxwell Lord to find out what the General Astro and company were trying to steal from the facility. Lord wines and dines her, but the dinner's just a distraction, so John disguised as Maxwell Lord can break into the facility, and which is funny. He has this funny moment between the secretary and John where he says, my dinner ended early. I think it was my facial hair and facial hair and narcissism which turned her off to me. I'm thinking about reevaluating my life, and it was just his the mannerisms by Peter Facinelli, kind of be able to mimic the actor who plays Martian Manhunter's mannerisms. It was a pretty funny moment, and when he sneaks in, he gets pictures of a girl who's hooked up to an IV whose eyes turn black. I'm suspecting this is going to be the show's version of Bizarro, because they've been hinting at her for the longest time. And of course, when a guard breaks in and asks Maxwell Lord, what's Code Phoenix, when disguised John tries to get her out of the facility, John is forced to knock him on his feet, and instead of killing him, he's forced to use his powers to basically damage his frontal lobe and erase the guard's memories, which is something that John feels remorseful for and wishes he didn't have to do and didn't have to do. So, and I guess the only other major subplot is that Lucy Lane is offered a job at Catco. At first, James Olsen didn't seem too thrilled about it because of the fact that is not too supportive because of the fact that he gives off the impression that it's he doesn't want to mix the relation business and pleasure in the workplace, but instead Lucy finds out that it has more to do with the fact that Jimmy feels like he hung up his camera too soon and has kind of lost himself and is not doing what he wants to do and is not happy with his job at Catco, which is why he wasn't so gung-ho about it before. And so they there wasn't too much to speak of. They make up, and Lucy said she'll put in the good word for him about doing more, getting back on the streets and doing more photography and what he did at the Daily Planet. And and when Kara and her sister are just kind of eating pizza and watching TV, turns out that Maxwell Lord put a camera on Kara's sister's purse and finds out that they're related, that Supergirl's her sister, and obviously dangerously close to figuring out who I guess her civilian identity, probably. Since they didn't run with the whole, since they didn't decide not, they copped out of running with Cat Grant, finding out Kara and Supergirl are one and the same. It'll be interesting to see how Maxwell Lord could use that information. Overall, I liked the episode. If there's anything I didn't get to talk about, leave it in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Oh, and special shout out for Emma Caulfield from Buffy the Vampire Slayer for being back in this episode. Great job. It was nice to see a future alum. And yeah, it's probably a one-shot thing. Maybe it'll be great if she becomes a recurring character, but fingers crossed.